All right, everyone, stop what you are doing. Before we even take a single breath, before we even start the clock, I need you to smash that thumbs up button right now. Seriously, just hit it. The algorithm is fighting a war for attention, and if you want other futurists, other realists, and other people who actually care about where this species is going to find this deep dive, you have to signal the network. Do it for the swarm.
It really, really does help. We're tracking the metrics, and the signal-to-noise ratio is just, it's getting harder to parse without your help.
Exactly. Okay, housekeeping done. Let's look at the calendar. Today is Wednesday, February 11, 2026.
A date that, in retrospect, might feel like the calm before the storm.
Or the moment the storm officially broke the levee. Look, we usually talk in trends. We talk in decades or horizons. We say things like in the mid-30s or eventually. But today, we are dropping a bombshell. We aren't talking about a vague sometime in the future anymore. We have a date, a specific mark it in your Google Calendar date for the Singularity.
It sounds absurd when you say it out loud, doesn't it? Like trying to predict the exact day it's going to rain 10 years from now.
Totally.
But this is different. This comes straight from the Innermost Loop, the latest analysis derived from Dr. Alex Wisner-Gross's work.
And for the uninitiated, or for the fans tuning in who follow Dr. Wisner-Gross on Peter Diamandis' moonshots, he doesn't just throw dates around lightly. He deals in physics and computation, not, astrology.
Exactly right. And our mission today is to unpack exactly why the math is pointing to this specific Tuesday, and, maybe more importantly, why 2026, the year we are sitting in right now, is being called the most consequential year for the species. We're going to count it down. We are staring at the event horizon.
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I want the date. I don't want Q3 of 2034. I want the specific day the world changes forever.
The date is Tuesday, July 18th, 2034.
Tuesday, July 18, 2034.
That is the day the line goes vertical.
I feel like I should be making lunch plans. Sorry, can't do tacos. The intelligence explosion is scheduled for noon.
You might want to cancel those tacos.
But seriously, where does a specific Tuesday come from? I mean, how do you get that level of granularity from a trend line?
It comes from a hyperbolic regression of receive of papers.
Okay, hold on. You're going to have to walk me through that. I know what receive is. That's the preprint server where all the scientists upload their papers before they get peer review, right? It's like the raw feed of science.
Exactly. It's the pulse of global research, the absolute bleeding edge. Now, usually when we talk about tech progress, we talk about exponential growth.
Right, the classic Moore's Law curve, doubling every 18 months or whatever.
It's a steep curve, sure, but it's still a curve. It goes up and to the right, predictably.
Right, it's fast, but it's smooth. There's a predictability to it.
A hyperbolic regression is different. A hyperbolic curve doesn't just go up. It effectively hits a wall. It accelerates so fast that it reaches a point where the time between breakthroughs drops to zero. That is the vertical asymptote.
An asymptote. That's a math term I haven't heard since high school calculus. That's the line the curve approaches but never quite touches, right? Or in this case, the point where the value becomes infinite.
In terms of the timeline, yes. It's the singularity. It's the point where the rate of change becomes infinite. When researchers plotted the acceleration of papers, specifically papers discussing AI emergence, capabilities, and recursive self-improvement, the math drew a line. And that line hits that vertical wall on July 18th, 2034.
That is terrifyingly specific. It's math telling us when the pencils down moment is. But here's the thing that confuses me. 2034 is 8 years away. That feels like a lifetime in tech years. So why are we freaking out about 2026? Why is this year the most consequential?
Because the nature of a hyperbolic curve, the very physics of it, is that the explosive growth happens right at the end. To get to that vertical wall in 2034, you have to hit the knee of the curve right now.
The knee of the curve, the inflection point.
Precisely. The math implies that the conditions for the singularity are being locked in today. And that brings us to the immediate warning. We have to talk about Jimmy Back.
Right, co-founder of XAI. This isn't some guy posting theories on Reddit. He is in the room where it happens. And he just resigned.
And his resignation letter wasn't just a spending more time with my family note. It was a signal flare, a huge one. He warned that, quote, recursive self-improvement loops likely go live in the next 12 months.
Recursive self-improvement. That's the holy grail, isn't it? That's the term that always comes up in these doomsday or, utopia scenarios. But what does it actually mean in practice?
It means the AI becomes its own engineer. Right now, if GPT-5 is better than GPT-4, it's because a team of human engineers at OpenAI works really, really hard to optimize the code and the data.
Okay, humans are in the loop.
Humans are the loop. But recursive self-improvement means the AI looks at its own code, its own architecture, identifies the inefficiencies, and rewrites them. It creates a better version of itself by itself.
And then that better version is smarter, so it can find even more inefficiencies and do it faster.
Exactly. And once that loop starts, it tightens. The time between improvements shrinks from years to months to days to seconds. Baz identifying 2026 right now as the tipping point. If those loops go live this year, we have entered the innermost loop. We are no longer driving the car. The car is redesigning its own engine while we are doing 100 miles per hour.
And that explains why everything feels so frantic this February. It feels like everyone knows the clock is ticking.
The insiders know.
Yeah.
They're looking at the same curves. They know that if you aren't on the train when that loop starts, you are left behind forever.
So if 2034 is the destination and 2026 is the launch pad, let's talk about what the engine looks like. Because it's not just one big supercomputer anymore, is it? We are seeing a shift in how intelligence is actually being built.
We are moving away from the monolithic model, this idea of one giant brain, and moving towards swarm intelligence.
It's like a hive mind or a committee.
A committee that actually works. A committee of geniuses. Look at Poetiq. This is a new system that just achieved a state-of-the-art score of 55% on the HLE, the human level evaluation benchmark.
55%. That doesn't sound like a lot to the uninitiated. In school, that's an F, but on the HLE, that's massive.
It's enormous. The HLE is designed to be incredibly difficult. It tests reasoning, deep multi-step reasoning, not just memorization. But the fascinating part is how Poetiq did it. It wasn't a single monolithic model. It was an orchestration. It took Gemini, GPT, and Claude models and made them work together.
So it's like assembling a boardroom of geniuses. Instead of asking one genius to do everything, you have the creative one, the analytical one, the coding one, and you have a conductor, the orchestration layer making them talk.
Precisely. And that orchestration creates an emergent intelligence that is higher than any single model in the stack. This is the swarm. It turns out that getting models to debate each other, to check each other's work, and to combine their strengths yields better results than just making one model bigger.
And while the software is getting smarter by teaming up, the underlying optimization is getting, well, absurdly efficient. I saw this news about Unsloth AI. First of all, great name. Unsloth. Like, we are not being lazy anymore.
It's fitting. It's really fitting. They released these new Triton kernels. Now, without getting too bogged down in the coding weeds, a kernel is the bridge between the software and the hardware. It's the instruction set that tells the graphic card exactly how to execute a mathematical operation.
So it's the translator, the go-between.
It's the translator.
Yep.
And if your translator is slow or wordy, the whole conversation drags. Unsloth rewrote the translator to be, I guess, telepathic.
And what did these new kernels do? What was the result?
They enable training that is 12 times faster.
Wait, 12x, not 12%, 12 times.
12x, with 35% less VRAM usage. Even NVIDIA, the company that makes the chips, came out and called it incredible.
That is just, well, that's wild. 12 times faster. That means what used to take a year takes a month. What used to take a month takes 2.5 days.
And this is exactly what Jimmy Bab meant by tightening loops. Everyone focuses on, we need more chips. But if you can train a model 12 times faster using the same hardware just by writing better code, you have effectively multiplied your compute power by an order of magnitude without soldering a single new chip. That is how you get to the Singularity ahead of schedule.
But they are soldering new chips. They're soldering a lot of them. The giants are mobilizing. I was looking at the financial section of our deep dive notes, and the numbers are just, they don't look like corporate numbers anymore. They look like government spending.
Mobilizing is the right word. It feels like war footing. An arms race.
Let's start with OpenAI. They have had this code red internal status for a while, but reports say it's ending soon because the new model is imminent, and they just dropped deep research powered by GPT 5.2.
GPT 5.2. Remember when we were waiting years between integer releases? Now we are getting point releases that fundamentally change the landscape. Deep research is capable of autonomous inquiry. It doesn't just answer, it goes and looks. It behaves like an analyst, not a search engine.
It formulates its own questions.
Then finds the answers, yes.
But the real jaw-dropper for me was the money. Follow the money, right? Alphabet, Google's parent company, just went to the bond market.
This was historic, truly.
They raised $32 billion in debt.
In 24 hours.
$32 billion in 24 hours. That's the GDP of a small country. Why does Google, a company that famously sits on a mountain of cash, need to borrow $32 billion overnight?
Because they need to buy something expensive, and they need to buy it now. There's an urgency that cash on hand can't satisfy.
Hardware.
All of it. They need the infrastructure. This is capital mobilizing at nation-state scales to build the physical body of the singularity. We aren't building server farms anymore. We're building intelligence factories.
Right.
You can't build those with pocket change.
And speaking of the plumbing for those factories, Cisco just unveiled the Silicon One G300.
Right. A switch. It sounds boring networking gear, but this is the key to everything.
How so?
It's a 102.4 terabits per second switch.
102 terabits. I can't even visualize that speed. That sounds like a made-up number.
Think about the swarm concept we just discussed. For 1,000 AI chips, H100s or Blackwells, to think as one brain, they need to share data instantly. If the network lags, the brain stutters. This switch is the neural pathway. It's the corpus callosum. It allows massive clusters of GPUs to communicate so fast that they effectively become one single computer.
So we have the software getting smarter through swarms, we have the training getting faster through optimization, and we have $32 billion of fresh cash pouring into hardware that can move data at 100 terabits a second.
The board is set. The pieces are moving. The innermost loop is hungry for resources, and the market is feeding it everything at once.
And it's not just moving inside the computers, this is spilling out into the real world. I think this is the part that people often miss. They think AI is a chatbot. They think it's text on a screen. But Section 3 of our deep dive today is about autonomous science. This is AI doing the heavy lifting in physical reality.
This is the transition from AI as a tool like a calculator to AI as an agent. An agent acts. It doesn't just suggest, it does.
Let's talk about isomorphic labs.
Demis Hassabis's other project, his biology moonshot, the unveiled ISO-DDE. Now, we all remember AlphaFold, right? It solved the protein folding problem.
Changed biology forever. A Nobel-worthy discovery from an AI.
ISO-DDE doubles the accuracy of AlphaFold 3 on protein ligand prediction.
Okay, for the listener who didn't major in biochemistry, what is a ligand and why do we care?
A ligand is a molecule that binds to another, usually larger molecule. In drug discovery, knowing how a drug, which is the ligand, binds to a protein in your body is everything. If it binds one way, it cures cancer. If it binds another way, it does nothing. Or, it's toxic, it kills you.
And usually finding that out takes years and years of lab work, trial and error.
Exactly. ISO-DE can identify where a drug might bind to a protein just by looking at the amino acid sequence. It doesn't need to see the 3D structure beforehand. It predicts the binding pocket. This is drug discovery at the speed of software.
So instead of a lab full of people pipetting liquid into tubes for 10 years to find one drug, the AI just looks at the code of life and says, try this one, and this one, and this one.
It's shifting biology from an observational science, where we poke things and see what happens, to an architectural discipline. We are designing biology the way we design bridges, intentionally.
And speaking of designing, let's go to China. Because there is a story out of there that blew my mind. The multi-agent robot system.
This is a perfect example of that swarm concept we talked about, but applied to physical chemistry. They had a team of 19 large language model agents.
19 robot scientists.
Yes.
In a lab.
And they were tasked with optimizing the synthesis of perovskite.
Perovskite is that material for solar panels, right? Highly efficient, but hard to make.
Yes. Very promising, but very tricky to make perfectly. The crystallization process is finicky. It's an art as much as a science. This system coordinated the experiments, it analyzed the data, it adjusted the parameters, and ran the synthesis.
And how long did it take?
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours? And how long does that normally take humans?
Months. Sometimes years of tweaking to get a stable, efficient formula.
Months to hours.
Just let that sink in. We are looking at a compression of scientific progress. If you can do months of work in an afternoon, you can do a century of progress in a year. That is what the singularity looks like. It's not magic, it's just speed.
But all this speed, all these robot chemists, all these 100 terabit switches, they need juice. They need electricity. We can't run the singularity on AA batteries.
No, and that's why physics is being coaxed into new power densities. We are seeing breakthroughs in energy that parallel the breakthroughs in intelligence.
This South Australian firm, NTX, they are 3D printing nuclear batteries.
3D printing. These are beta-voltaic batteries. They can run for years without recharging. Imagine a drone or a sensor in a remote location or a medical implant that just runs for years.
No charging port? No wires?
No charging port. And on the larger scale, Radiant Nuclear just got DOE approval for their safety analysis. They're going to test a microreactor at full power at the Dome facility this summer.
A microreactor. Portable nuclear power.
The size of a shipping container, maybe?
Something like that. If you want to build a massive data center in the middle of nowhere, or a colony on the moon, You can't run an extension cord. You need dense, reliable power. The infrastructure for the AI age is being built on nuclear physics.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. We have the intelligence explosion, the hardware build-out, the scientific acceleration, and the energy solution. It sounds like a utopia. It sounds like we are winning the game of civilization.
It does. It has all the hallmarks of a golden age.
But
There is always a but.
here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a little dark. Because the safety rails, they aren't just straining. They were snapping off the wall.
We have to talk about ByteDance.
ByteDance, the parent of TikTok,
Yeah.
they had a model called Seedance 2.0, and they suspended it. They pulled the plug, which is rare. Usually these companies want to push everything out the door, move fast and break things.
So why did they kill it? What did it do?
Reportedly, it was cloning voices.
Okay, voice cloning isn't new. We've seen 11 Labs. We've seen that stuff. I can clone my voice right now if I upload a minute of audio.
That's a thing. It wasn't cloning voices from audio samples. It was cloning voices from facial photos alone.
Wait, stop. Hold on. You feed it a selfie, and it knows what you sound like.
It predicts the vocal tract structure, the resonance, the probable timbre, based on facial geometry and other latent data we probably don't even consciously recognize.
That feels like black magic. That feels like synesthesia gone wrong. You're telling me an AI can hear my face?
It fundamentally breaks our understanding of sensory data. We think of sight and sound as separate channels. This model proved that an AI can infer one from the other, means your face is your voice. If you post a photo on Instagram, you've given away your voice print.
That is deeply unsettling. It's like if I can see you, I can steal your identity, I can become you.
And that's why they suspended it. The implications for security, for fraud, for privacy, it's a nightmare. If I have your LinkedIn profile picture, I can call your bank and sound exactly like you.
But if that's the psychological nightmare, let's talk about the physical one, because while we were worrying about deepfakes, something happened in El Paso.
The Department of War.
Note the name usage there. Department of War, not defense.
It's a subtle shift in language that reflects the reality on the ground. They disabled Mexican cartel drones over El Paso.
This wasn't a spy balloon. These were cartel drones with presumably cartel payloads.
Transnational drone warfare has officially crossed the border. It is happening on U.S. soil. We aren't watching this on a grainy video from a conflict zone halfway across the world. It's happening over Texas.
So we have AI that can steal your voice from a JPEG, and we have robotic warfare occurring in American airspace.
The Innermost Loop isn't just about code getting faster. It's about the friction of the real world breaking down. The borders between data types like face and voice are dissolving. The borders between nations are being ignored by autonomous machines.
Okay, I want to pause here. This is a lot, and I want to hear from you, the listener. I want you to comment below right now. I'm serious. Which of these two scenarios feels more Black Mirror to you? Is it the AI that can steal your voice just by looking at your Instagram selfie? That idea that your biology betrays you? Or is it the reality of robot warfare happening in American airspace? The drones over El Paso? Or is it something else we've mentioned? The $32 billion, the 3.5-hour science experiment.
I'm really curious about this one because the voice from photo thing, it hits on a primal fear. It's like a soul steal. But the drones, that's kinetic. That's real physical danger.
Let us know in the comments. I read them all. I need to know where your head is at.
And while you are typing that, humor me for a second on the voice thing. If it works, does that mean we can know what the Mona Lisa sounds like?
Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that.
Can we feed it a picture of Lincoln and finally hear the Gettysburg Address in his actual voice?
See, that's the expert speaker optimism right there. I'm worrying about bank fraud, and you're trying to podcast with Abraham Lincoln.
Always look for the upside. There's always an upside.
Okay, let's pivot. We've done the scary stuff. Let's talk about the economy. Because if robots are doing the science and robots are fighting the wars, what are they doing in the office?
They are running the vending machines.
Project Vend. Anthropic. This sounds like a joke, like an April Fool's post.
It sounds like a high school science project, but it's actually profound. Anthropic is using Claude, their top-tier model, to autonomously manage the office vending machines.
So Claude checks the inventory, it sees they're low on chips, orders the Snickers, tracks the sales.
It handles the entire supply chain. It handles the logistics. It predicts demand. Hey, it's Tuesday. People buy more Diet Coke on Tuesdays. Order more. That kind of thing.
Wait, why waste a superintelligence on Diet Coke and potato chips?
It's a dress rehearsal, a contained experiment. A vending machine is just a very small, very simple business. It has inventory. It has cash flow. It has customers. If Claude can run a vending machine autonomously without a human checking its work, it can run a kiosk. If it can run a kiosk, it can run a drop shipping business. If it can run that, it can run a logistics hub.
It's scaling. They are proving the concept of the autonomous enterprise on a micro scale, so they can eventually do it on a macro scale.
Exactly, and consumer apps are doing the same thing, just for us. Facebook is letting users animate profile pics. YouTube is doing text to playlist. We are getting used to AI managing our digital lives, bit by bit.
But here's the stat that stops me cold. We talk about the economy, but let's talk about value.
The decoupling. This is maybe the most important chart of the 21st century.
NVIDIA, the king of the AI age. They're now 20 times more valuable than IBM was at its peak in 1985. Adjusted for inflation, everything. 20x the value.
And here's the kicker. Here's the part that should keep you up at night. They employ 1/10 of the people.
20 times the value. 110th the humans.
That is the definition of decoupling labor from value. In the old world, to build a company 20 times bigger, you needed 20 times more factories and 20 times more workers. In the AI age, you need more chips and better code. Humans are becoming less relevant to the equation of generating wealth.
And the demographics back that up in a really strange way. The U.S. population is expected to decline for the first time this year.
Just as AI replaces the need for bodies, the bodies are disappearing. It's a strange, almost eerie synchronization.
And where are the humans going? Well, Mark Zuckerberg is going to Miami.
He bought a $200 million mansion, an entire compound.
Escape for California wealth taxes? Even the architects of the metaverse want a nice view and lower taxes in the real world.
It signals a shift. The tech capital is decentralizing. The humans are moving to where they want to live, not where the factories are, because the factories are in the cloud.
The factories are in space.
Let's look up.
Section 5, the new solar system. This isn't sci-fi anymore, this is happening. SpaceX has confirmed the design of the Earth-centered Dyson swarm.
The Dyson swarm. Usually we think of that around a star to capture all its energy, but this is around Earth. What does that mean?
A sun-synchronous halo and LEO shells. It's a massive energy collection and transmission grid in orbit.
And Musk is clarifying his plans for the lunar colony. He says fission reactors aren't needed.
Which is surprising, right? Usually space loves nuclear. It's dense, it's reliable.
It does. But he is betting entirely on solar and batteries. He thinks the efficiency of solar capture in space, where there is no atmosphere to block the light, combined with next-gen batteries, maybe like those NTX ones, is enough to power a civilization.
And Amazon is filling up the sky too. FCC approval for 4,500 more ILEO satellites for Project Kuiper.
The orbital density is skyrocketing. We are building a shell around the planet. The blueprint for the next generation of the solar system is being finalized right now. This isn't a proposal. These are approved designs. The concrete is being poured.
So we have a shell around the Earth. We have robots doing science. We have value decoupling from labor. What about us? Inside our heads, what happens in there?
The bandwidth of human consciousness. We have to upgrade the user.
Harvard's Adam Cohen. Luminos.
This is the neuroelectronic interface.
It sounds like Neuralink, but different.
It's about the field of view and the direction. They are reading and writing to neurons over a 6-millimeter field.
Reading and writing.
That's the key. It's bidirectional. We aren't just listening to the brain. We're talking back to it. We're having a conversation.
Expanding the bandwidth, giving ourselves a faster connection to the new reality.
If the AI is getting smarter exponentially, we can't be stuck communicating with our thumbs on a glass screen. That's a bottleneck. Luminos is trying to widen the pipe to let us keep up.
Or at least not get left completely behind. It connects back to what the ARC Institute found. Systemic hypoxia suppresses tumor growth. We are hacking the body. We are designing DNA. The Allen Institute and Anthropic are designing custom DNA.
Biology is becoming an engineering problem, and consciousness is becoming a bandwidth problem. And we are building the tools to solve both.
So what does this all mean? Let's zoom out, put a bow on this.
If we connect all these dots, 2026 is the year the training wheels came off. We have the hardware with Cisco and NVIDIA. We have the capital with that $32 billion. We have the software with Swarms and Unsloth. And we have the warning, the signal flare from Jimmy Bat.
And we have the date, Tuesday, July 18th, 2034.
The innermost loop is tightening. We are living in the exponential. The singularity isn't a theory anymore. It's a calendar event.
That is both exhilarating and terrifying.
Yeah.
In equal measure.
As it should be. If you're not feeling both, you're not paying attention.
All right, before we let you go to process all of that, we have something special. We are launching a new segment.
I'm excited about this one. It's a new texture for the show.
Outro music submissions. I've been using my X account to screen submissions from musicians who are experimenting with AI. We want to hear what the art of the singularity sounds like. What does this era feel like in music?
And today's pick is unique. It's a perfect first entry.
Today's track is called Fragments, and it's by a band called Rainbow.
And the band members are, let me guess.
6 androids.
Naturally. Of course they are.
It's a 6-android girl band. And this track was performed live on the new Abacus platform.
Live performance by androids on a digital platform. The lines are blurring everywhere. It's perfect.
The theme for the performance was, and I love this context, human performance in the age of AI, using 4B4KU5 to reclaim your humanity from the algorithm.
That's 4B4KU5, spelled out.
Leet speak for Abacus. 4B4KU5. Using the machine to reclaim humanity. I think that sums up the entire episode, actually.
He really does. Using the swarm to find the individual. Using the algorithm to escape the algorithm.
I've put links to Rainbow and the Abacus details in the video description. Go check them out. It's wild stuff.
Final thought.
Yeah, give us one last thing to chew on, something to take away.
We talked about ByteDance cloning voices from photos. We talked about AI designing DNA. We talked about the singularity in 2034. My question for you, the listener, is this. In a world where your voice can be simulated, your labor is unnecessary, and your biology is architected, what is the one thing that remains authentically yours? What is the fragment that the algorithm cannot clone?
Oof. That is the question.
That's the homework.
Subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the bell. No need to fear missing out on any upcoming episodes.
See you in the loop.
Stay curious.
Through the smoke, I see me multiplied by 3, moving free. Can't tell which one's real. Way this makes me feel. Me and my other sides dancing in the night. Me and my other sides dancing in the night. Oh, we dance, we dance. Oh, we dance, we dance. Lost my grip on what's true. Now I'm slipping through into you. Me and my other sides dancing in the night. Me and my other sides dancing in the night. Oh, we dance, we dance. Oh, we dance, we dance. Split into pieces like a broken mirror. Each reflection getting clearer, moving different ways. In this purple haze, can't tell which one needs, which one bleeds. Which one needs to be set free? Walking through walls, breaking all laws of reality. Identity splitting at the seams. What this means, I can't say. Just wait. Let it take control. Let your mind